real good football team, and I was really just proud of our guys. And we talk about playing a full 60 minutes, and that's what we did.
Well, and you mentioned it. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is Arizona State, hats off to them. They just kept coming, and kept coming. Athletes out there creating plays, creating turnovers, and yet your team just stayed with it and didn't panic.
No, I mean, we've been in these situations before. We win because of our preparation. We practice very, very hard, and we know that it's going to take 60 minutes. We were in at halftime. We've been in the same situation. We were fortunate to be up for a couple points, but I thought we finished really well in the beginning of the first half. To come back with points in that situation was big for us, and then carried that as we went through in the second half.
I thought your defense played really well in that first half. Obviously did a lot of things to keep you in that game because Darren Thomas's interception there towards the end of the first half pulled Arizona State to that field goal, and then Cliff's pick to get the ball back out the midfield. You guys score a touchdown off of that. Those were the type of plays that the defense just did so Arizona State couldn't lengthen the lead.
They did, and it was on us. Offensively, we turned the ball over in the second play of the game in the fumble, and then the interception. Those are things that you can't do against a good team, and I thought our defense really had our back. But that's what this is. It's a good, solid football team.
And for the most part, kept the big explosion plays down, too. Kept a lot of the plays in front of you. They got a couple late in the game, but I thought throughout the game you guys kept those plays right in front of you.
They did. Our defense has done a nice job of understanding what the concept is, what our coaches want to do, and make people drive the distance and go the distance, and force them into mistakes as they continue to go. And if we don't give up big plays, we're going to be good on defense.
For the second week in a row, maybe not a ton of sacks, but you made Brock Osweiler uncomfortable back there. You made him move around, had to throw the ball in the run. He showed his athleticism, no doubt about that, but nonetheless made him just uncomfortable enough to keep him on the move.
We did. We can generate a pass rush. We got some guys like Kadu and Dion and those guys that can get after the quarterback a little bit, and that's what you have to do against this offense. You just can't let him stay back there and set his feet. You need to make him move a little bit and get him off balance, and our guys did that.
Offensively in the first half, not as much running, but threw the ball very well. Darren Thomas was very accurate other than the one interception. You guys were able to take advantage of some things through the air.
You do, and against a real good defense like they are, you have to mix it up. And you're not going to be able to pound it all day long, but you needed. I think we loosened them up a little bit with some of the throws. We got Huff over the top once. I think they kind of backed them up a little bit, and those are things we need to do. And then eventually we ended up, I think, running for 3-something again. We started once we wear them down. We can start to control the clock a little bit, and that's what happened in the second half.
Well, when you get Kenyon Barner and DeAnthony Thomas combined for 243 yards and 3 touchdowns, and really, again, as you mentioned, a lot of that in the second half, offensive line what created a lot of that. They controlled the line of scrimmage.
They did a nice job in the second half. That's a real good front, real good front seven that really can control the line of scrimmage. And I thought our guys, as the game went along, started to move the ball the way we expect to move the ball. But again, good defense. Give them credit. That's a good football team.
Talk about the play of Brian Bennett. Comes in and kind of a tough situation, cold off the bench, and I thought he did a tremendous job of keeping his composure, managing the game, and then just kind of letting his skill level and speed take over from there.
And you see it in practice with Brian, and we talk to him about it all the time. Is it's not a cliche. You're a play away from getting in the game, and he did a nice job. He's very athletic. He can run through some nice balls. I think the one thing I liked about Brian is his first extended playing time in a significant situation. There was no panic, and I think he knows what we ask our quarterback to do is that you don't have to make things happen. You just have to let it happen. Don't force the issue. You got a lot of playmakers out there, distribute the ball, and I thought he did a really nice job.
I thought tonight was a real character check, and I mean, not that you guys, you're together all the time, you know the character of this team, but it just showed through again tonight with a key injury to LaMichael, obviously Darren Thomas out of the game, having different guys in there and different combinations, with the character of the team just showed through, and the confidence of it too.
It did, and that's the one thing I didn't know going in, is because we're such a young team. When we get into adverse situations, how will we respond? And those guys did a great job.
All right, Coach. 5-1 on the season, 3-0 in the Pac-12. Congratulations, big victory over Arizona State. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Jordy.
All right, Jerry, back up to you.
Go ahead, open it up. Just wait for the mic, please. Any questions for Coach?
Anything at all you can share about Darren's status?
He came out of field, said he wanted to go back in to me, when we were up 14. Then I told him Brian was actually playing pretty good, so we'll see where he is now. But I don't. Besides that, I don't have anything for you.
Was part of the decision to leave Brian in just how much confidence you had?
No, it has nothing to do with it. He wasn't playing. Darren was out, so.
Okay, so he wasn't coming back in.
Nope.
Now, I know that you said, Coach, that you always have a player that can jump in and fill that void when a player goes out, but how difficult is it mentally for your players to try and regroup when you have Darren and then LaMichael go out?
I mean, I think they did a real good job of it. They understand that, people getting banged up is part of the game. There's 6 or 7 players for Arizona State that aren't here right now. Omar Bolden, which I think is one of the top corners in the country, is not there. So everybody at this point in time has weathered some type of injury. So it's the nature of college football right now. And then, it's the mindset. One of the things we don't talk about injuries. We just talk about it as an opportunity for somebody to go in. And there's something to be said to that. I know, unfortunately, you guys don't like it, but I think it's working for us. So we'll continue to not talk about him.
Coach, obviously, you recruited him, you brought him here so you know what he could do. You put him on the field, first game of the year, you know what he can do. But at this point, I mean, are you even a little surprised what Anthony's been able to do here first 6 games of his
Am I
college?
surprised? No.
Not one bit.
Because we see it in practice, and that's what it is. It's confidence based on demonstrated ability, and there's nothing that guys, you guys see it our games on Saturday, but there's nothing out there. Brian Bennett going in the game and playing like he did, that wasn't a surprise to me. I've seen Brian do that, so I think we have confidence in those guys, and I think they instill confidence in each other. And I know not having LaMichael tonight, in other teams that could be a devastating situation, but our guys have seen Kenyon in practice and seen DeAnthony in practice and know what he can do, and it didn't surprise me what he did tonight.
I know you talk about how it's about players in football, but it's 2 games in a row where it seems like you guys really pushed the right buttons as a staff at halftime. That was a question.
Oh. I was going to say,
come out that way.
Yes, you're right. No, we have a great staff, and I think the one thing that it's reason for our success is our players have a great understanding of our system. So when we talk, our players finish our sentences. It's not a, hey, let's do this. I think they know the logical progression of what